Hello, Internet, and anyone that might actually be watching this, or am I just talking to the uncaring void again? I never thought I'd find myself saying the phrase, well, looks like I'm going to have to do an unboxing video, but here we are. So, I've recently ordered a bunch of Sega stuff from Japan. Now, I gotta tell you, look, this is gonna be the shoddiest unboxing video you've possibly ever seen. I'm new, I'm starting out, I'm working on my crappy phone here. The camera app doesn't have a focus lock, so, we're gonna have to deal with that. Look, I'll level with everybody. I kind of just wanted to have a go at this unboxing thing. This is my second video for the channel that might work, ignoring all the ones that didn't record the other day. Look, honestly, I just want to get this done so it's done, because I've been looking forward to this, and I'm actually on 3 days of temporary unemployment, but that's just, I'm moving jobs, and this is the gap in between them. So this arrived perfectly, because playing video games on a Friday is even better when you know that, on Monday you'll go back to your fulfilling job and be a productive member of society. So, God, what am I saying? Shut up, man. Okay, I will also say, like the hand thing, I'm going to have to do this one-handed with the phone because I'm kind of working out. I need a better stand to mount things up here, especially because I do want to start demonstrating my efforts at doing my own mods to systems. I still have 12 Sega Saturn consoles over in Japan. I got them for about $55 Australian for the auction win. Shipping almost 19 kilos worth of consoles. I'm going to have to contact them and see. This. So actually, just quickly, I'll summarize. Not showing the paper because I haven't redacted stuff I don't want anyone seeing. But so this came from Joss. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. But JAUCE.com. So they're basically an intermediary site into Japanese marketplaces. Opening up a whole new avenue of, ooh, is that the best purchase online? Anyway, so I gave it a go. And I can say that what we're going to see here came to I managed to get for a total of, there were a couple buy it nows in here. What do we got? I'm just looking at the invoice for the first time because their transaction summary is, look, I churn through data without thinking about it as part of my day jobs, and I was just like, nah, I don't care that much. But what we're about to see here, I ended up getting for 17,607 yen, which roughly, I'm going to take a very hand-wavy sort of exchange to Australian dollars. What's that? I'd say that's about 190 to 200. Shipping and handling was 8,678 yen, so about $100. Right, so they do have fees because, of course, they're a middleman. They're providing you a service. Like, I haven't had to read Japanese. I studied it years ago, but I'm hopeless at it now. This has just been quite painless, honestly. But so their fees, and also that does include shipping from the Japanese seller to Jouses, again, whatever with the pronunciation, but to their warehouses in Japan. And then thankfully, because a lot of this is like a Mega Drive cartridge here, a Saturn CD game here, if they all had to be shipped individually from Japan to Australia, oh my goodness, might almost quickly become cheaper to just freaking fly there, including the fact I still need my passport. So that's the other listings that they have here, 16,223 yen, about 175 roughly. GST, which is an Australian thing, which thankfully they just calculated for me. Now, as I understand it, from just quickly looking at Australian import tariffs on, import tariffs. Essentially, look, I'm just going to sit this here for now and talk. I'm not going to show my face. Oh, actually, yeah, I can show my face. Nope, that's not the one. whatever. You don't need to see my face. I'm awake but not showered, so yeah, I'm a real person. So what was the point I was just going to make? Oh, look, I don't know. How about we just get into it? Stop faffing around. All right. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Okay. So, here we go. I really need to work out this thing. Oh no, individual bubble wrap. This isn't really going to work one-handed. However, I'm a weird guy in that various, let's just say, sum it up as blue-collar jobs over the years. Sometimes you get bored, and what I do is pretend one of my hands doesn't work. Just honestly, because maybe one day I won't have the choice of pretending, and my hand won't work, and I need it, and I got to get past stuff. Okay, so theoretically, what I might actually do then, rather than just bore everybody with this, is I'll pull these out. So just also, a lot of these things were 1 or 2 games from sellers, and there's that looks like the complete Japanese Mega Drive 1. I don't know what revision it is yet, but original Mega Drive, you'll see it. Full set cables. Now, the good thing about these compared to the Saturns that I'm waiting on is because the Saturn has a power supply built in. The AC, so that means it needs Japanese AC, which is 100 volts. Not 110, it is actually 100 volts in Japan. They're going to need a transformer or something like a Saturn power supply mod, which is certainly something I'm going to do for the ones I refurbish for myself. But because these are the days of the wall wart, I'm hoping, I should double check, not assume, because I don't want to go through all this and then have it go up in magic smoke. I'm hoping that I can just substitute my Australian AC-friendly power unit for the Mega Drive 2 that I have and just fit in the back. Now, I'll be paranoid and just double-check that it is actually center negative, like I'm expecting, because that's what most of the Saturn console, the Sega stuff does. Well, at least Sega. Thank you, DHL, for confirming that my shipment has arrived. Automated message. Okay, so I'll pause the video here, and when it replays, I'm going to have all this laid out, unwrapped, and then I'll sort of talk about it and why I'm excited, and sort of videos to look forward to in the future. So bear with me, everybody, while I use my 2 hands to, sort out all of this. Okay, yep. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so this ended up being a lot different setup than I expected. So yeah, in case anyone's sitting there thinking, oh my god, what an amateur, this looks like some bloke with some odds and sods and random bits of recording gear and lighting is making shit YouTube videos. Well, that's exactly what it is. But, you know, have a go. So rather than justify the setup, let's just get into it. As I mentioned in the intro, or the previous part of this video, I just want to get this on record, have a go at an unboxing video, learn how much I sucked at it first go, grow from there, and then get into actually enjoying this stuff. Even though, yeah, the Saturn stuff is waiting on Japanese consoles, and there will probably be some modding to, again, like the AC power supply thing for Australian voltages and some other stuff. Okay, so the games I've bought. We've got... now, I will say, I did study Japanese at school for 6 years, but many, many years ago, and because I haven't really used it, I can remember most hiragana characters, a couple of sentence fragments. I just forget what most of the words mean and the grammar, so I deliberately stayed away from RPG stuff or anything that is going to be dependent on your ability to read lots of text in Japanese. So, yeah, that was the main thing besides choosing the games so far. Okay, so Bomberman. If you know of Bomberman, I think it's fair to say that most folks love at least some form of Bomberman. I've played it on my Game Boy Pocket, DOS PC, probably a couple other places. Look, I just love Bomberman. It's a simple game. It's fun. Yeah, fantastic game. Looking forward to seeing how the Sega does it. Well, I've seen reviews. Looking forward to having a go at, well, not the Sega, the Sega Saturn. One thing I have learned from my first video is lots of places where I've misspoken. Good spots to put in edit cards or the asterisk in the word I meant. And I'll probably actually edit that video and then re-upload it at some point. So, Virtua Fighter, if you know of the Sega Saturn, I don't think this game needs any introduction. I remember seeing the arcade machines in Australia in the 90s. Now, when I talk about my experiences in arcade machines, I grew up in a country town. We couldn't just go running off on the weekend because we wanted to, because we just didn't have the resources and family to do it. So me visiting an arcade throughout high school, if it wasn't one of the boxes that the handful of shops in my really small local country town had on and off over the years, I'd only get it when I'd go to visit my eldest sister in the state's capital city. And yeah, going to Time Zone when time zones were a thing. Are time zones still a thing? I haven't had the opportunity to care. Life has been very different from when I was 18. So Virtua Fighter. If I did play it in the arcade, I don't remember it. I certainly remember seeing it. I certainly remember this being like, wow, what's coming next? Yeah, so that's looking forward to that. Now, apparently, this actually sucked so bad in a couple of ways. I don't remember. Watch GameSack. That registered Sega owners got Virtua Fighter Remix. Apparently, this was what it should have been, how it should have been done the first time. Just quickly, I think it was some minor texture improvements. I think, yeah. But we'll look at those at some point, of course. The intention is all of this is shown on the channel at some point. Now, again, if you know a Virtua Fighter, Sega Rally, does it really need any introduction? I definitely played a lot of this in the arcade machines. I think I had, if not this, it would have been Daytona, that I also played on the PC when Windows 95 was the hotness. Now, I have gone through all these, and except I haven't bothered opening the ones that are double sort of wrapped from the seller. So, but the ones I have looked at, the actual disc quality on the surface, I'd say, yeah, 95% good. A couple of the inners on the jewel cases have cracked and just kind of become useless. But I am actually quite impressed. Anyone that remembered handling CDs and jewel cases when these were like cutting edge media delivery knows that for this thing to be like almost 30 years old and in this condition is like, wow. Clearly came from people who gave a damn about their stuff. And I get the benefits. Now, a lot of these games, $5 Australian. Now, to be fair, within Japan, these are like common things. But yeah, there are some games that, $4,000. I mean, it'd be a nice flex to pull off, but I don't think I can justify it. I don't want to be a serious collector who's going to put myself into like eating 2-minute noodles just to buy a copy of Cotton Panorama. Whew. I'd like one though. It looks like an awesome game, and it's always nice to see actual female characters, just because, oh god, it just gets tiresome when everything's a bloody sausage fest. Anyway, right. Another one, Panzer Dragoon. Never played it. Only really seen gameplay secondhand. I think I ended up with 2 copies because with the 12 Saturns, the idea is, of course, I'll keep one for myself. 1 or 2 good friends I might gift them to, because, like, you know, it's the thing. If you go over to a friend's place to play a game, and the only time you play it is there, you just suck. And it's hard to want to play it if that's going to happen every time, and you just don't get to have the practice. So I thought, well, if how to win friends and influence people, give them something they want. If they want to enjoy the game, but that's a hindrance, and I've got a Saturn console I can gift them, really. double copies. Although I don't think this is like 2-player as such, so it's not like they have to worry about sucking against a relative expert. Mostly for resale. Ooh, I can get a game. Not a bad idea. Mobile Suit Gundam. I don't entirely know what this one was. I think I looked. It was cheap. So at one point, I just sort of like looked at what's cheap and not heavy on the need to understand the Japanese text. Like as you can see, this is all Japanese. A lot of stuff is Japanese, but lots of English. Lots of English, even for the Japan releases of games. So this one, yeah, like having a quick look at it, it looked like something that for $5 Australian, hey, can I go wrong? Maybe. And this is another one, Nights into Dreams. Sonic Team. This is apparently another one that's quite well renowned, and we'll get to a piece of peripheral hardware that I have in a second. Yeah, this one's all trashed. Like, look, that's not securely holding your disc. And yes, my lighting is terrible. Oh, look, there's my face. Oh, there's my nose and my... See, there you go. This is the kind of thing. I've got a clamp. Can I... yeah, I've got a random piece of pine coming from my desk in my spare room, hanging over this... Ow. A little shoddy... couch side table that my old housemate made up from a piece of chipboard, and there's an old base unit for a home multimedia system as a stand. It gets the job done. So Nights into Dreams. So Nights into Dreams is... Ow. Alright, I got this hip thing going on, and knowing which position is comfortable and which position is excruciating agony is a surprise affair. These things, 3D controller. Yeah, these are... The first thing I look at when I see this is I don't know the model, but look, I'm a Star Trek fan, and they look like the smaller sciencey exploration vessels, the extra ships you see in the big fleet scenes. I don't know. Somebody can chime in the comments and tell me what they think it looks like. Yeah, so I don't think these were the very first to have analog sticks, but same thing. Everything you have on the normal Saturn controller, which I have a standard one, which we'll look at in a sec. Of course, there's just obviously there's a difference between what is your access control. Digital, analog is what I'm assuming there. Yeah, so these are pretty neat. Looking forward to experiencing that for the first time. Okay, I'll put this up off to the side. So while we're on the topic of Saturn stuff and controllers, these are apparently considered by many. Of course, not everyone. There's going to be differences of opinions because that's just the way of things. These are apparently considered by many to be kind of like peak evolution, I guess, of this style of controller before we get into analog stick dependence. Yeah, so never used one of these. Yeah, it's got a bit of a cheapy sound to it, but you know, it's Sega. It'll be okay, and I'm confident enough that I can fix anything that busts in these guys, as long as it doesn't come down to like a dead chip. I've never seen inside one of these, but I'm gonna expect it's a bit more complicated than just the plain simple switch arrangements of Master System controllers. Okay. Now I said the Master System word. Now, Japanese Master System games, software-wise, mostly compatible, but they do actually have a separate pinout from on the cards as well for Japanese releases. Have separate pinouts from export Master System. Sorry, just taking a moment to breathe through the discomfort. Actually, lowering this chair has helped. Finding the right angle of the seating position is the challenge. Okay, Afterburner. Never really played this one. Pretty sure this is Afterburner and not actually that F-16 Fighting Falcon mess. 4 megabits F-16 Fighting Falcon. Having never played it, but looking at footage, it's like if it's a 4 megabit cartridge, where did it all go? Anyway, so I have 2 copies of these. It's like, why? Well, I had put some bids on Japanese Master Systems. A couple in the... You'll notice that this doesn't say... Oh, well, it does actually say Master System, but Mark III. That's essentially the exact same hardware, mostly compatible except for things that video modes improve, going all the way back to the Sega SC-1000. And the Mark III is essentially the same hardware in a Japanese packaging. It is actually a white Sega console. You may have noticed that most of them are black, which, after watching people retrobrite all their old Commodore 64s and stuff, it's like, well, I like the fact that the Sega stuff's usually black. Okay, so yeah, I'll have some actual Japanese games to try on a Japanese Master System. The thing I don't like about this, as someone who just can't help but look inside stuff, is that the access screws are under the label. And these cartridges are in really good condition. They were cart only. I might be able to peel one of these up enough to not damage it so it can be put back down without anyone ever knowing other than the video evidence. So yeah, there's those. Now, we'll slowly move these across. And let's look at, while we're on the topic of games, Mega Drive games. Now, I think the Mega Drives are far more compatible across the Japanese versions and the export versions. I'm still no master on a lot of this stuff, to be honest. Beyond what I definitely directly experienced in my childhood. So these are games that I just wanted to play based on looking at reviews, and I'm going to look into getting the Mega Drive, which I also purchased and had shipped with this order. I want to have it... I'm going to have a look at doing the export and 50-60 Hertz mods for those, so that, in theory, that Japanese Mega Drive, or whichever one, they do have a slightly different shape at the top, like where they go into the console. I forget which way it is. We'll see how that works in a future video. So we've got Rastan Saga 2, Quackshot, and Game Ground. Apologies, folks. I need to pause for just a second to sort out this hip thing. Okay, and thanks to the magic of pause buttons and hopefully some editing, we're back. Yes, I've messed with my lighting. This is a very not slapstick, rough operation. I won't lie. Got my just in case stick, which with this hip thing is actually more about being able to have different options to move when I discover that, okay, that position that was fine for 5 minutes is now agony. I'm 38 and I'm using a walking stick. It could happen to you. Anyway, so, genuine Model 1 Mega Drive. Because that accident was necessary. Excited. Similar to what you may have heard or will hear me say about Master System 2 versus Master System 1, to use the Australian terminology, rather than Mark III, which is how the Japanese tend to refer to these things as well. I always liked this. I don't know, like 8-year-old me in 1992 looking at this and playing at my friend's house was like, I don't know, it just looked... I guess to me, I felt like it was like cyberpunky before I could really put my finger on what cyberpunk was, and it'd be another 10 years before I'd read William Gibson's Neuromancer. I think that's the name of it, for the first time. Apparently the definitive cyberpunk novel. Good book from what I remember. Anyhow, so cartridge lock, which you can see it comes up there. Now at some point we'll definitely... I don't know if I'll put it on video, but I know I'm going to have a look in this because I'm me, and it's what I like to do. I don't know if... Now, Mega Drive, I know the Mega Drive 1 and the Master System 1, at least in Australia, maybe the Japanese consoles... I mean, this can be verified, I just don't know off the top of my head. Maybe the Japanese consoles actually did have stereo. I know the Mega Drive has stereo on the headphone jack, I believe, which is at the front. So that means this is superfluous. A lot of people are like, oh, well, we'll split it across and then we'll feed them both in and we'll get stereo. Well, no, you'll get mono still. If you're getting a mono audio signal out, splitting it left and right, as far as our brains hear it, it's still mono. Anyway, so really, like most sort of AV inputs I've seen, if you have a mono source, you just need the left one. And like you'll see, my Master System 1 cable that I bought aftermarket recently, it only has those two. Pretty sure. I've got so many of these cables, and they all look the same when you have to dig through your memory. Well, big chunky DIN plug on these guys, though. Look at that. That is... Actually, I do wonder if it's got a ferrite bead built in or something. That might not be the craziest speculation. The controllers look fairly stock standard. I'm pretty sure controllers on these things are like market, like export Japanese market agnostic. These things don't care about like region lockouts or code or anything else like that. They're usually just basic switching circuits. So fairly standard pad there. Now, I did mention that I was hoping, because these, unlike the Saturn, use the wall warts, that I might be able to use my Australian wall wart to just bypass that and feed DC in, because at the barrel jack here, it just wants to see DC of certain voltage and able to deliver a certain current. So how it gets there, is irrelevant. Well, in theory. But I also mentioned checking the center negative versus center positive. My Australian Mega Drive 2 pack here is center positive, and the Japanese one is center negative. It's maybe not going to show up too well on the lighting, but that's what's going on there. And the actual barrel jack sizes don't work. So that might put off my desire to get into cracking on these Mega Drive games today. But I do have a ton of old salvaged power packs from, you might throw out the appliance, but that power pack is useful. Well, how much do they cost? Why pay for one if the alternative was you were going to throw a perfectly good one in the bin? I experiment with a lot of stuff randomly, so it works for me. Like my slippers and my don't give a rat's about how I look pants. It's cold. I'm unemployed for 3 days. Leave me alone. Pick on me. Let me know what you got. So I'm kind of excited to look at that. Oh, one other thing. Pretty sure this was a Japan-only thing. Extension port. This would plug into the Mega Modem, which allowed access into services, which I'm pretty sure was a Japan-only thing. I'd like to get a Mega Modem, mostly as a historical curiosity piece. The services that they were designed to service are long gone. The gender on these things is different to what you might find on a PC serial RS-232 port. So I don't know. I haven't verified yet whether these are actually RS-232 in a different plug, because let's be different enough to be annoying. And that might also mean it could be RS-232 on a non-standard pinout, aside from just the gender thing. So that'll be interesting. And at some point, I'm looking to get an RGB breakout for this, because, yeah, sure, they come supplied with the AV cable over there, but if you actually look at the pinouts on these things and right down to the chips, they come with all the video options available, from composite to S-video with just the, chrominance and lumina signals, and then component / RGB video. So I'd like to have a go at that, because apparently RGB component video is the holy grail of analog, and which makes total sense if you understand enough about the signaling. I understand enough. And I also know that analog electronics is absolutely not my forte. Okay, so I think that's all for now. I'm going to tidy this up, and I hope that was entertaining. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.